brothers and sisters. And today I know that all of you come here with a willing heart. No one forced you to come. You come here willingly. And let's tell you a little story of my life, if you want to hear. Now, you want to see the video first or you want to talk first? Okay. Before I do anything today, can we thank the volunteers that is sick and some volunteers go home? Can we just bow our head and say a prayer for them because they have done a very, very good job, all the volunteers. Without volunteers, I don't think any of us can do our work. So can we start now, 1 minute, to thank all the volunteers and those who are sick. We pray for them. Silently, in your own way and your own heart. Thank you very much. And Mr. Peter, who is now sick, who is invited and asked me to come here to give a little talk on what I do. Now, at age of 5 years old, my father left and my mother took me to a convent. The name of the convent is Kenozen Sister. When I was there, they taught me how to pray first thing. And the sign of the cross and the three prayers. The Our Father, the Hail Mary, and the Glory Be. At the time, we learned and tried to learn that prayer, but we learned as a parrot. So, at the age of 5, we are lost. Parents not there. The only love I get is from the convent. The love, the food, and not only that, the discipline. The discipline is strict, but when you reflect back, it runs our life. I was there from 5 to 10. And when we out from 10 years old, I was brought out and I leave my mother. When times are hard, my mother had to find food and try to make a living. But it's not easy. So one day, we were in a church. At that time, I was a service boy. And she taught me these lessons which I learned up to today. These lessons is very simple. When we were living in the church, when Mary, the cook, tell us, you stay here until you get a job. But the parish priest was not very happy, tell her that we have to leave. And when we were young, when I was young, we have nowhere to go, and mom have to bring us away and ask her, why must we leave? It's not fair. But she says, they are human. They do not know what they are doing. So we went off. Up to today, these lessons of forgiveness she has is still in me. That everyone is a human. So we make mistake, and when mistake we make, we got to be forgiven. I worked from 12 years old up to 18, where I met my wife Mary. As you know that every man, there must be a woman that encourage us to go forward. When I was down, she says, try, never say die. And this word keep me going. And we start hard work, we work together. Age of 21, I got married. Mother is one side, sisters is at the other side. And we look forward to have our own home. And Mary says, let's bring the family back. So the family come back, and there we work very hard together. Life was tough, but we made it. At the age of 22, we bought the first house, and then age of 30, we bought our own house. Now, within this time, when we work, nobody really care, because time doesn't permit us to do anything. But I learned very hard. All the work which I was given, I learned from it. I start my first company. When I start my first company, I forgotten the poor. And what we do is, at that time, I was in the insurance business, and then after that we start the shipping, and then we start the printing. And during the printing time, we have taken care of some Yarrow Ribbon people. And we teach them how to do printing, to start life and go ahead, which they can really do something to earn their living. So, without knowing that we are doing charity, we are the first social enterprise, I think so, the first social enterprise in Singapore. We do social work without knowing that we are doing social work. What happened is, I tell you two miracles that have been in my life while I'm doing this work. Now, when you know that we are doing printing, it's a hard job and costs a lot of money when you're training. And we lost something about $1 million Singapore dollars. And I told my wife, if we continue, we will lose everything. So I said to her, why not we close it down and then auction the things and pay the people. My wife said, we have done it for a long time and it's said that we have to do it. After saying that, an hour later, my mother rang up and said, come home. We do not know what happened. We went home. And she says, here is the money, take it and pay your debts. I do not know how she know it. God have tell her, give us the $1 million to settle the debts. a lot of advice is given. Take the money, roll it, buy houses. You can make more money very fast. But my wife says, this money belongs to the creditors. And God have given this money for us to pay them and not to invest them. So we paid every single cent out of it. So this is where when you do God's work, He will never let you down. Okay? He will be with you all the time and He will support. And I tell you another one which recently, about 20 years ago, 22 years before we start, we will upgrade the printing press. At that time, we still employed these ex-prisoners. And one day, we intend to buy new computers to do the artwork, which is more easier, and the software that cost nearly $100,000. And the machine arrived. 3 days later, somebody came and stole the machine. And in the machine, there is a lot of religious work. The police came in and interviewed me. At that time, the market was a bit recession. And they questioned me for nearly an hour. They thought I took and sell the machine. So the question he asked me after the investigation, how much is your property? I told him nearly $100,000. The second question is, how much is it insured? I told him, God's property, no need insurance. 3 days time, he will come back. And he touched my shoulder and said, good luck. Then, about 12:30 to 1 a.m., Father Heng came, the Jesuit priest. There a lot of his work inside the computer. I told Father, sorry, we got to redo your work because all of your work is in the computer and someone stolen it. He went to have a look and he says to me, I pray for you. I said, Father, 3 days time, he will come back. He smiled, tapped my shoulder, and he went off. 3:30, my girl called me and says, Uncle Tony, I need one more computer because we didn't sell our old computer and we can't work. I told her, go and buy one second-hand one. We don't think we have enough money. She took a phone, she rang up a dealer, and that dealer says he have this computer. So she called me on the phone and told me, hey, this guy got the computer. I said, cannot be because this is a very new model. How can he have? Then she said, yeah, she really have. I said, okay. Ask him how much. Then she called me back and says, he asked you to say how much. I said, give him 5,000 because the computer worth nearly 100,000. So the first day lost, call up, that guy said he have. He told her, I can't send tomorrow, I send the next day. And we got blessing. On the third day, the computer arrived to the same place where they stolen it. So, the providence of God is definitely there. When you do His work, He will never let you down. Correct? So all of us must do His work. Now, after this, my mother bought some cooking equipment. And I told her, Mom, I'm not a cook. What is all this equipment doing? She says, one day you need it. That's why when Mama says you something, she mean it. We all know. And this occupied the whole house in the yard. So we put one in St. Stephen Church, the other one in St. Michael Church, and we kept a few. Then she got sick. When she got sick, that time was star period. And the neighbor, they was building a condominium. They broke down the old houses to build a condominium, and it's very, very noisy. So I went over and tell them, can you please bring the generator somewhere else? So Mom is sick. Immediately, they brought it to another area so that it's not noisy. But Mom went to hospital the next day, and she never come out. And what we did is, we brought the body back. If we tell my friends, if they attend the wake, if they get sick, I feel bad because that is star period. So if they don't come, they feel bad because they know my mother is gone. So we went to the church, told the pastor, and then the secret let out. A lot of her friends know, and then they came and visit her. And then, while she was lying there, the Cancer sisters came also and said, can you collect bread? I told sister, I got no time. He said, no, you collect. I said, I'm very busy. I no time to collect. I cannot collect. And she says to me, just one time. And then he reflect, when I was in the convent, if there is no food, Sister Elizabeth will say, come boys, come. All kneel down, pray. So we'll kneel down and pray, the food come. We don't know she's making a picture of it, of a story. But every time when there is no food, boys come, kneel down, pray. And every time when you pray, within half an hour, food come. So I did not want the boys or girls to kneel down and pray for food, because most probably I did it, and why make somebody else kneel down and pray when we can do it for them? So we agree. So after the wake, those friends of my mother from Church of St. Michael, they stay behind and cook meals for the foreign worker every day, okay? They cook behind. And when we go and collect the first bread, the nuns took only 20. When we collect nearly 200 bread, and she says, I take this lot of bread, the rest you should know what to do. What to do with 200 bread? I myself don't know what to do. Because I know when I want bread, I just go and buy it. So I told my wife said, don't worry, let's see what happened tomorrow morning. We drove the car, and the contractors on the road, we just asked them, you want this bread? While I was driving, she asked, you want this bread? And they said, yes, they came and collect. And the dustbin man, the grass cutters, by the time we reach office, the 200 bread is given out. Wow, I was very happy. My job gone, done. Again, this nun ring up. Can you collect bread? And I say, sister, I'm going boating. She said, no lah, you collect first, then you go lah. But if I collect, I can't go. So what to do? We collect. And after that, another nun come and said, can you collect vegetable for me? I said, where? He said, in Toa Payoh, there is a lot of vegetable they throw away. So and then another one says, you send the bread to Bukit Ho Swee, and there is a lot of people who need it. So we brought the bread, we start giving the bread out, and the next day we bring the vegetables and the bread together again. And one old man says, and my wife asked this old man, why don't you take the vegetable? It's very fresh. He says, I don't cook. What you eat, whatever you give, I eat. So she says, I'll bring one meal to you. And she agreed to bring the meal. When she brought the meal to him, the next day, others asked, can we have? So one meal becomes 10 meals, 10 meals becomes 1,000 meals, and 1,000 meals become 10,000 meals today. That's what we do every day, 365 days. We do it every day. We do even Christmas, New Year, Chinese New Year, because I realize that when we are poor, we don't even have a meal. And if we keep animals, we feed them every day. So our focus is to feed every day for 365 days. And we hope that all of us here can be a willing heart and start the feeding program. If all the churches are open, there will be no more poor, and we can do another work is to put them back into society. Who help us? When we ask for help, it's not easy because we have nothing. The monk saw us working. The Canadian sisters saw us working. The sisters will give me whatever they have balanced from the old age home. The monk will stand in Katong near the market and ask for food for us willing heart. That's where we start in the early stage. We collect waste material, we sell. At that time, I think so, in the St. Ignatius Church at the back, they are demolishing the building. We collected all whatever at the church, behind the church, the condominium, we sell and we use that money to buy food. Then we have duck, we buy duck neck. You know, duck neck is very cheap in Singapore. It's 30 cents a piece. After buying for a while, the man asks, what are you doing with this duck neck? We say to him, I take out the meat and cook for them. And he says, don't worry, I give you free. So we got free food. Okay? And one day, we don't have any more food. And my wife says, now you see, we have so many people waiting for food and there is no food. So I say to her, if the vegetarian can eat vegetable, why can't we fry the food? She said, no, you must give protein, this and that. So we say, okay, we go and sleep. But, shocking, 5 a.m. in the morning, the duck man rang up and says, you come to the market. So, when he asked me, who is that? I said, the duck man. I said, you only give duck neck. But to your surprise, the first time in history, he gave us something about 40 kilo of meat. And we managed to feed. So, the Lord will never let us down, even during the COVID. My chairman says, we don't have meat. Then I tell him, don't worry, the Lord will provide. He asked, provide what? I say, he will provide the meat because he's the Father. The Father will never let us down. So, he smiled and then he turned his head and go back and say, what nonsense I'm talking about. But at that time, the same week, someone from, I think so, McDonald's or Kentucky Chicken, got one shipment of 20-footer container of chicken. And we received that. Because the packing was a bit wrong. And there's a hole in the box. And when there's a hole in the box, the chicken company doesn't want to accept. And the insurance company says it's good. And they ask for insurance identity, saying that in case anything happen, you pay. But they did not want to sign, so they said, give to charity, we receive it. So we got the chicken. And the last one, I tell you again, during COVID, donation dropped. So he says, how? No rice. I said, then what can we do? Everybody have no rice because it's COVID time. He said, okay lah, you put in the Facebook and see what happened. Brothers and sisters, when we put in the Facebook, the Lord sent 3,670 tons. That lasts us for the whole year. So that is what I tell you. Please start and do your work with faith and love. Thank you. Goodbye.